My name is James DeCawson. Welcome to Sex Education TV. For the first time in all of history, what I am about to do is to make world history. By teaching you, yes, you, my listening friends, everything I've ever learned about sex in every sex education class I've ever had. Bingo! Okay. Now, before I tell you this, I got to let you know this is very confidential information. When I was in 6th grade, I got my first sex education class, okay? Picture me, 6th grade, maybe it was 5th. I think it was in my art class, of course. Where else, right? And the speaker came into the room. We all sat there as attentive little 5th graders. And he gave his presentation and put a picture, I guess I'll call it that, of the male anatomy up on a little stand. And he explained how that when a guy gets excited, these blood vessels fill with blood and happiness. Okay? Yeah. And then, out of all the kids in the class, right? I'm probably the cutest little kid in the class, right? Because, well, maybe not back then, 5th, 6th grade, but yeah, I'm old and worn out now, and my age is showing, but I was a cute little kid, right? He picks me. He picks me. He says, Jim, like he knew me, like he was my next door neighbor or something, right? He says, Jim, can you get up and point to the blood vessels so that whatever, he didn't say so that, but he just said, can you, or he called me up there, and then he said, can you point to this? And I did, and then he said, okay, thank you, and I sat down, and I'm looking back at that now as an adult. Okay, I'm looking back at that, and I'm saying, wow. The next thing I remember about the subject of sex coming up in class, this is just so funny, was in college, and I had 2 different professors make a comment about sex. One was Opal Redden. How's that for a name? Opal Redden. You know what she said? She said, in the middle of her speech, ranting on about whatever it was she was talking about, and she said something like, which means, quoting the Bible, whatever, no oral or anal sex. And I'm looking back at that, and I'm just thinking, wow, how perfectly bizarre, right? This is the extent of my sex education. Okay, so here's this. And then we had another professor. He was a former Catholic priest, who I can relate to a whole lot better than Opal Redden, perhaps. Okay, this guy's a little deeper, right? Professor-looking guy, can't remember his name, white beard, intelligent-looking, and you had to respect him because he used to be a priest, right? What did he say? He said calmly, as he sat upon his desk in that professor fashion, he said something like, how do you know what is kosher in the bedroom in a marriage? And he let the people think about it. And he said, well, the only way that you could actually come to an understanding of what is allowed in the bedroom is what is mutually agreed upon by the two people who are trying to make each other happy. Right? And I thought, well, yeah, that's like a little deeper, and you know, I always love my Catholic heritage because it allows me the freedom to think deeper. So yeah, that made sense. But I thought it was kind of funny how that kind of contradicted what Opal Redden said, which is still, it's got to be on the top 10 list of the most bizarre things I've ever heard in my life, right? But yeah, in case you're wondering, I would probably go with the priest rather than Opal's advice. That's getting a little too personal, but you know, I mean, come on, we're in a real world in real time, right? And that's some of the rest of the story. Peace, love, and togetherness. Follow Jesus, or you will wish you did eventually. Okie dokie, bye.